Hello, Pacific Northwest Key Clubbers, and welcome to our District Convention Registration webinar. My name is Sweta Peru from Division 21, and I serve as the District Convention Committee Chair. On the behalf of the DCON Committee, thank you all for taking time out of your day to attend this webinar. As the deadline to register for DCON rapidly approaches, our committee hopes that this webinar will answer any questions that you may have about DCON and how to register. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce you to the other members of the 2023 to 2024 District Convention Committee.
Hi everyone, my name is Nola Stenstrom and I serve as your 2023 to 2024 Pacific Northwest Key Club District Governor.
And unfortunately, our District Secretary, Tin Bo, and our District Editor, Luke Weinstein, could not make it today, but they are also part of our committee. Next up, we'll have our Lieutenant Governors who will introduce themselves as their respective themselves and their respective divisions.
Hi, I'm Angelina Lee, and I serve as a Lieutenant Governor for Division 26.
I'm Abigail Young, and I serve as Lieutenant Governor for Division 28.
I'm Isabel Nguyen, and I serve as the Lieutenant Governor for Division 34.
I'm Rowan Majdi, and I serve as Lieutenant Governor for Division 54.
I'm Kayla Nguyen, and I serve as Lieutenant Governor for Division 66.
I'm Ellen Muir, and I serve as Lieutenant Governor for Division 72.
I'm Shelby Harshman, and I serve as Lieutenant Governor of Division 80.
First, we will be giving a brief overview of what to expect at DCON and what the exhibit hall will look like. Afterwards, we'll review awards and then introduce different fundraising ideas. And finally, we will do a walkthrough demonstration of the registration process. If you have any questions, make sure to write them down because at the end, we will have a Q&A session. I'll now pass it on to Angelina to give a brief overview of what to expect at DCON.
Thank you, Soda. And here is a quick DCON 101 review. So DCON is PNW's Key Club's largest event. DCON 2024 will be our 74th annual convention, and our theme is Service with a Splash. This year's district convention will be held at the Oregon Convention Center in Portland, Oregon on Friday, March 8th to Sunday, March 10th. You might be wondering, how much is DCON? Well, DCON is $320 per person for a quad registration, $435 for double registration, and $665 for single registration. Included in the cost are the hotel room, most meals, convention merch, and access to all of the guest speakers, workshops, and entertainment we have to offer.
As you can see, this is our lovely t-shirt designed by Division 28's Claire Lee. Here we also have our tote bag design as well as our Morty the Moose pin made by Arisha Rahman and Francine Wen. As previously mentioned, our DCON committee has chosen the guest speakers who will be at our district convention. DCON 2024 will feature 3 guest speakers, including our megaphone speaker from the company Say What, our keynote speaker, Andy Stoll, and our entertainer, Trig Watson. Say What helps us talk about a respectable environment and an inclusive culture where everyone loves to work, study, and prepare for a professional career. Catharsis Productions uses humor, interactive talk, and exercises to create an impactful and meaningful learning environment for all participants. Say What utilizes research from psychology and adult learning theory mixed with real-world discussions and examples of cultural differences happening around us.
Next is our keynote speaker, who is social entrepreneur Andy Stoll, who set off on what would become a 4-year, 40-country trip around the world to better understand how people live. He lived in a Buddhist temple in Korea, worked in a dress factory in Bangkok, farmed in a mud hut village in Africa, lived the life of a cowboy in Australia, and played a 19th century British soldier in a Bollywood movie. Andy delivers insightful and entertaining talks that artfully weave together themes of leadership, social entrepreneurship, travel, and global perspective to help young people find answers to their most pressing and often haunting questions. What do I want to do when I grow up? How can I find my place in the world? And can I change the world?
We're in the middle of traffic. What I want you to understand is the distance between who you are and what you want to become is shorter than you think.
With a backpack, a Virgin passport, and a one-way ticket to China, I left. I'd never traveled outside the country my entire life.
Andy's talk is not just about travel. I think it's really important because it inspires undergraduates in a time that they're transitioning at a major point of their life. He does a great job of making you feel like you're capable of anything.
I've definitely had
And finally, our entertainment, Trig Watson. Trig Watson is a new breed of magician. He prefers his iPad to a deck of cards. He likes robots more than rabbits. He has entertained audiences from London to Las Vegas, won international awards, and appeared on every major American Magic TV show. Trig graduated from college with dual degrees in business management and theater studies, and also worked as a consultant for Deloitte. He draws on this training and experience to infuse his magic with transformative power, captivating audiences worldwide.
Wow, 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 wow. I've never seen anything more amazing, more jaw-dropping, more incredible. It felt like I was watching a dream. It didn't look real. I think you could win this season with that. I really do.
I hope you guys are looking forward to these speakers because I know I am. Next, I'll pass it to Rowan, who will be going over the exhibit hall.
Thanks, LMA. Introducing the exhibit hall at DCON, which welcomes colleges, universities, service partners, and our very own outstanding key clubs. It's an excellent opportunity for your club to showcase their service project or related resources to over 2,000 key clubbers from the Pacific Northwest. To register, you can fill out the exhibit hall registration Google form. If your club would like to submit more than one project, please fill out one per project. The form must be submitted no later than February 1st, 2024 at 11:59 p.m. Representatives should be assigned to be in charge of presenting for the duration of the exhibit hall. This role can be split among several people or assigned as shifts, but please make sure everyone understands their role and will arrive on time at the exhibit hall. For presentation requirements, your club must provide club name, location, division, title or name of the project, a list of materials used, if applicable, an overview of the project, when or where the project occurred, how many members attended, what your club did, the impact of the project on the committee, and tips and tricks for members who want to plan this project in their own clubs. Pictures are recommended, but not necessary. Also, if your club received the Penwolf grant this year, I highly encourage you to participate in the exhibit hall to share your projects. Hopefully, this has helped encourage you to show off your hard work at our exhibit hall this year. And now I'll pass it off to Kayla to give an awards review.
Thank you so much, Rowan. Now we will talk about awards. Remember that February 1st is the submission deadline for awards, so please be aware of that and be on top of your work when filling out awards forms. Now, here are some general tips and tricks for you all. Know that this process is very straightforward and should be quite fun to go through with your officer board. First, start early. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is that you give yourself at least a couple of weeks worth of buffer room in case something unexpected comes up. There will be things that take an unexpectedly long time, such as finding your Key Club ID number and gathering signatures, especially from people you might not talk to on a daily basis. You might also run into difficulties where you want to reach out to us for help, and that will take time too. Please figure out a way to hold yourself accountable and start tackling these early. Next, be thorough. Remember that the judges most likely won't know much about your club or even the town you live in. The more detail you provide, the better. This is especially applicable to the more subjective sections without numbers and metrics, because there are no reference points to follow. Third, proofread. Nothing is worse than carefully crafting a beautiful application and realizing that you spelled the words Key Club wrong. A great idea is to have at least 3 separate people at 3 separate time frames read it over, and then you'll be good to go. Finally, there is absolutely no penalty for trying. At the end of the day, one of the purposes of these awards is to wager some friendly competition. So enjoy. There are no application fees or hidden tricks, and you aren't going to be ashamed for trying. So why not just go for it? The worst thing that could happen is that you don't win. And even then, you will still have gained valuable experience from trying. So when in doubt, try it out and you might surprise yourself.
Now let's talk about the annual achievement report, which is mandatory for all key clubs, which can be found in the DCON registration packet. Submitting this report itself qualifies the clubs for numerous awards and contests at DCON. The report will be filled out as follows. The first section is a club information section, which asks for basic information surrounding the club, including the club ID number, address, and faculty advisor's information. The section also requires the signature of the club president, Kiwanis advisor, school principal, and/or faculty advisor, attesting to the accuracy of the report. Within the club info section is the administration section. This requires accessing the club records as it asks you to indicate the attendance of various officers and advisors at club meetings, as well as the average attendance of members at each club meeting. This section also asks if the club has submitted the club election report, the date the club paid its dues, and its involvement in divisional events such as election rallies, DCMs, and PCMs. The rest of the report follows a similar self-reporting and grading pattern. Now we have the club service section. This section entails reporting all the service projects and activities your club has held through the administrative year. In this section, you have to calculate the total number of service hours performed by members of the Key Club. For example, if your club has a total of 625 hours and 25 members, your points for this section would be 25. In the last section of the annual achievement report, you need to total the money fundraised by the Key Club for nonprofit, educational, and other charitable purposes. Remember to convert the funds raised to US dollars. For example, if your club has raised a total of $500 and has 25 members, your average would be $20 per person, scoring you 20 points for this section. From there, you calculate your points, then report your scores per section in the scoring section of the form. Please keep track of your points, as this is a crucial part of the form. Thank you for listening to an overview of the annual achievement report and some general tips when applying for an award. I'll now pass it off to Sweta, who will tell us about DCON fundraising.
Thank you, Shelby. Now let's talk about fundraising and how it plays a part in your DCON experience. One of the most overlooked aspects of DCON planning process is fundraising. Many clubs tend to put off fundraising or prioritize other events and opportunities for their members. It can be something Key Club can easily overlook. However, we highly recommend that clubs begin fundraising for DCON as early as possible. The price of DCON registration is $320 for a quad. This can be a hefty amount for anyone, but through effective fundraising, this price can be greatly reduced for you and your members. Now, let's look at some fundraising ideas.
So first and foremost, please consider asking your sponsoring Kiwanis Club for financial support. Typically, Kiwanis Clubs are willing to pay for 1/3 of the registration cost for 2 delegates from your clubs, so they're definitely worth talking to first. Come prepared with a pitch, plan, and presentation to best increase your chances of receiving funds. Please talk with your club's faculty advisor before doing this so you are both on the same page. If you're not aware of who your sponsoring Kiwanis advisor is, please check with your division's lieutenant governor.
Next, the first fundraising opportunity we're going to talk about today is a classic amongst Key Clubs, share nights with your local restaurants. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this type of event. A club will partner up with a restaurant, and members can attend with a portion of the proceeds going towards the club. When hosting a share night at your club, though, it's important that you put extra emphasis on advertising. Members may need to present a copy of the flyers in order for the funds to be shared, so make sure that they are aware of this and that these flyers can be easily accessed either digitally or physically.
And with the holiday season well underway at this point, now's the time for Key Clubs to get festive with fundraising. Holiday-themed candygrams are always a blast. You can have members donate candy or buy candy in bulk to keep costs low. Members can purchase candygrams along with a short note to send to their friends. This is something many members are already familiar with and is a great way to raise some extra funds. Of course, these candygrams don't have to be festive. You can host this event at pretty much any point in the year.
If you're interested in incorporating a service element while raising funds for your club, you can always participate in a local marathon or other races. Example, the Clackamas Key Club raised over $1,000.
Still feeling stumped when it comes to fundraising ideas? I personally turn to websites like Pinterest when I'm feeling uninspired. Another way to gather ideas is to check out what other key clubs across your division and our district are doing. It can be a great way to get some cool ideas. Also, attending the exhibit hall at DCON is another great way to see what other clubs are doing and what ideas you can adapt for your own use for your club. Don't be afraid to team up with other clubs either. Not only is this a great way to reach a larger audience, but we always love to see our key clubs building up their inter-club relations. Before we move on, feel free to share in the chat some cool fundraisers your club has participated in or are planning to. Now, we will give you a rundown of the DCON registration process with a step-by-step walkthrough.
Let's talk about how you can register for this amazing convention. First, go to the website www.registermychapter.com/keyclub/PNW. It'll take you to the club login page for the DCON 2024 registration system. If you haven't changed your password, you can use your club's ID as the username and password. However, when entering your username and password, please remember to put an H in front of the ID. For example, if your ID was 12345, your username and password will be H12345. Then you'll put in your advisor or the adult that will be chaperoning your club, such as your Kiwanis advisor, club information, and your payment method. In the club information section, you'll be asked for your division number and arrival and departure date. Your arrival date should be March 8th, 2024, or and your departure date should be March 10th, 2024. Click Save to advance to the next step. The next step is to add attendees by clicking Add New Name. You'll then see a screen with your school name at the top. Think of this as an Excel sheet of the members that will be attending DCON from your club. You'll hit Add New Name and enter the information that is being asked for. You'll be asked for basic information for each attendee, including name, grade, email, phone, and t-shirt size. You will also have the opportunity to know any special needs, such as dietary restrictions, for each attendee.
Then, after all attendees from your club have been added, you'll be able to set the meal type: regular, vegetarian, vegan, or gluten-free for each attendee. If a parking pass is needed, this may also be added in this window for any vehicle coming to convention. Round-trip transportation is available through Amtrak. Students and advisors will need to get dropped off at the Amtrak station. These tickets will be available when registering and will be available on a first-come, first-served basis. Under each attendee, please click Upload under Medical Release Form, Code of Conduct Form, and Publicity Waiver to upload scanned copies of each form. After that, you will be able to select Housing. Click Housing to advance the rooming requests for the attendees listed. You'll see a list of hotels to choose from. The Hyatt Regency Portland is the main hotel and it's first come, first serve. If one hotel is full, please choose another option. Select a room type for the attendees you wish to assign to each room. Then, you'll choose the room type as well as who it is for. You'll repeat this process for every attendee.
Then you will select room number 1 to begin assigning attendees to your first room. A reminder is that if you plan to have any attendees share a room with members of another club, do not assign them to a room yet. You may save your registration without submitting. Select all of the attendees that will be in the current room by clicking the checkbox next to their name, then repeat steps 8 through 10 as needed until all of your attendees have been assigned to their room. The next step is for attendees that wish to share a room with a different club member. These are the instructions for sharing rooms with attendees of a different club. Talk to the advisor of the other club and decide which club will register the shared room. The price of the room will automatically be split up between the two clubs based on how many members from each club are in the room. If the other club is registering the room, leave your attendees unassigned. You will be able to complete your registration after the other club adds them to the room. If you are registering the shared room, add your attendees to the room with the process described in steps 8 through 10. Then click Add from another club to find the attendees from another club. Select their school from the drop-down list. Select the names of the students from the other club. If the names do not show up in the drop-down list, contact the other advisor to make sure they have not already been assigned to a room. If you'd like to see which clubs are looking for roommates, please visit the DCON 2024 Roommate Finder.
After all the housing info is entered, make sure it is correct. And if it isn't, make sure to update it accordingly. Once you're ready to move on, click Submit Hotel Reservation. Then you will be returned to the registration room summary page. With this, the page should indicate that your housing reservation has been submitted and the total balance due for registration and housing will be listed. Now you're ready to pay. Choose your payment method and then you will be sent to a page for payment. If you select the credit card method, you can pay online. Read the advisor agreement and then hit submit. After submitting, you will see a review of all of your attendees, kind of like a receipt. Feel free to print copies of this page for all your members, though the invoice will be sent to the email address of the advisor for your club during the event. Congratulations, you are now registered for DCON. After submitting your registration, you will receive an invoice. With this, you may print as many copies as you need from this screen, and it will be automatically emailed to the address listed for the advisor. If you are not using a card, mail your checks to the address on the screen. And remember, payments should be made by February 1st, or a $100 late fee will be added to your registration per student.
Now it's time for the open floor. Please put any questions you have in chat or raise your hand for your question to be answered. Yes, Hector, what's your question?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Are you guys gonna send this to us? Like, is there a way we can access these slides?
Yeah, we can post it on the PNW Key Club website, and we have a separate page for DCON itself, and we can try posting it on in around a day or two.
Okay. That was my question. Thank you.
No problem. Registration for DCON is due February 1st, but I would not wait till then. I would try seeing who's interested in DCON by I would say the beginning of your winter break or maybe right after your winter break, mainly because the registration process does take a while. Yes, I will try posting these slides onto the DCON website, and I will also make a link on the link tree in our Instagram bio. So yeah. So that way the slides are more accessible. Where can we apply for officer? So the officer name tags, so the question in chat was, where can we apply for officer ribbons that go onto your name tag? In that, it is part of your registration process, and it should be around step 4. One moment, let me see exactly where. So when you are applying, when it asks for general information, it talks about different ribbons you can get, and also on the registration website, it just shows like a list, and then you can go do that. And then Anna from D33 said registration fee of $320. That's the fee per member, right? Yeah, that is per member because around $115 is for the room itself, and then the remainder is the registration cost, and that adds up to $320 per member. Advisors cost the same amount depending on whether they want a single, a quad, and that differs on how many people they want per room. And advisors have to register through their key club because we want to see if the advisors to key clubbers ratio is correct, and that way we can just see if it's all there. And then Hector, do you have another question or is your hand just up?
Sorry, I forgot to unraise it.
Oh, okay, you're fine. Thank you. Okay, and then there's another question for the talent contest. When is the last day to register for the awards? So all awards are due on February 1st, 2024 at 11:59 p.m. PST, and I would recommend to get started earlier, mainly because after that due date, we're not going to look at what you have, and that is also found on the PNW Key Club website. And then, so then I think LMA sent the PNW Key Club website in chat. And then if Evan asked the question, if your school is paying with check, do we get invoice after registering all the attendees? Also, does the check need to be sent to PNW Key Club by February 1st? Yes, it does need to be sent by February 1st. A good way of remembering is that basically everything due is on February 1st, 11:59. Whether it's awards, if you're running for higher office, registration, everything is due on February 1st, 11:59 p.m. And then you guys do get an invoice after registering all attendees. It's the last step. You just check the box and it'll give you how many receipts you want. And then, yes, please pay the check by February 1st. Advisors cost the same, registration costs the same for advisors and students. So faculty advisors and Kiwanis members, they will be under advisors as we see them as both people who come in to chaperone your club. So I would just put them as advisors when you're registering your club. The chaperone information is the same information as key clubs, such as the waiver form, the code of conduct, and that's it. There's no background check. And then, there's a background check by Kiwanis International and over the age of 21. I'm so sorry, I said that information wrong. Shelby answered that question. Mercedes, do you have a question you would like to ask?
I just wanted to go through the math over these room rates one more time. So each person in a quad is paying $320. So that's like $1,440 or $1,240 for the room, right? All total?
Yes, it's per person. Yeah.
But if it's one person to a room, it's only $665.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not quite sure why there's that discrepancy, but I just want to make sure I understood that. So one person's paying $665, 4 people in one room are going to pay a total of $1,240.
Yes. If we so I'm gonna quickly go onto the registration packet, and in that you can see a breakdown of what each of the costs are. Let me pull it up for you. One moment.
Yeah, Mercedes, this is Josh. I'm one of the adult advisors for this committee. So the cost being different, it comes from the actual room that you're physically getting. So if you're rooming by yourself, you're not going to be getting the same 2 queen bedroom room as 4 students would be getting. So that's where the prices are coming from.
Thank you.
And just to clarify, so pricing is as follows. So registration per person is 205. That is no matter the room you did, it's just a base number of 205. And then you have an additional cost of 115 if you want a quad room. So that's where the 320 comes from. And then if you want 3 kids per room, you pay 155.33 for the room, including the 205 cost. So that's how the breakdown is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem. If you want more information about it, you can go to the registration packet found on the Key Club website and go to page 8, and that talks about registration costs. And our one of our LTGs, Evelyn Chen, she kind of runs our webpage, and she posted the slides and she put the link down there. And then Jack Peters said, how many chaperones required per number of Key Club students? And Kayla was correct. So 1 advisor for every 10 students with matching genders. So if you have 10 boys and you have 1 male advisor, that's okay. But if you have 5 girls and 5 boys, you need 2 advisors, 1 male, 1 female. And then to contact me if you have the meeting for more questions is that you can email me at convention@pnwkeyclub.org or our Instagram, which is PNWKCDCON, or if you want to talk to my advisor, that would be administrator@pnwkeyclub.org. And then you, Miss Ayers.
Yep, you were correct on that first one. Real quick question, because you said that it needs to be because of the depending on gender. What if I have 9 girls going and 1 boy? I still need a male advisor as well as a female, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
If you have other schools going from your district, you could partner chaperones with other schools. So if another school in your district or a neighboring key club, if they have less than 10 boys going, you could just ask that chaperone to kind of take yours under their wing as well.
Fantastic. Thank you.
And then Jack Peters asked if students have to stay at the hotel or the convention centers when there's no meetings going on. So a large part about DCON is kind of just exploring and connecting with your key club and other clubs as well. So when there isn't like a speaker happening, it's okay for members to explore the area, especially since 2 of the meals students will have to pay for it themselves. So we would want them to search around the area, find cuisine they like, and go try it out.
So can I just jump in on that really quickly?
Of course.
I just want to say that as a chaperone, they are responsible for their students at all times. So if they're going to allow their students to go off of the hotel property or the convention center property, they're going to need to make sure that they've made clear how those students are to keep in touch with them in case they're needed. So it is the chaperone's responsibility at all times. Thank you.
And then Karina, could you answer the question if refunds are available if members cannot make it?
I would have to go back to the packet, Sweta, and look at the date. I'm not sure what the date is that we've put for this year, but there is a cutoff date because beyond that date, we are contracted by the hotel. So if someone has a valid reason and needs to cancel prior to that cancellation date, we will process a refund. But if it's after the date, we cannot because we have already committed to payment to the hotel. You can swap, however, but as long as it's within the same gender. So if something comes up and a female student is unable to make it, you could swap out another female student.
And then Kayla, would you like to answer the question about the meals? Oh, LMA Muir just did. So the 2 meals are not included in the registration fee are Saturday dinner and Sunday breakfast. Are there any more questions? Yes, Mercedes.
One more question. If we only have like the 1 student that wants to participate or is able to participate, how do we connect with other advisors or other clubs to like, is there a bulletin board or a post board somewhere that says which clubs are taking so many students where we can connect with people?
I believe you would have to reach out to the advisors in your district to see if they want if you want to connect like that, because last year we had a few members who were just the only one in their district and they just kind of partnered with the other divisions because the divisions are kind of like united, I would say. So having your student go with another club they don't miss out on the experience at all. In fact, it kind of increases their experience. So I would talk to other advisors in your area.
Thank you.
Aiden, you asked if you were the only guy, and then you asked if that you're working with Brian Egger, which is our district administrator. And with that, if you're the only guy, I would talk to others in your division to see if you can partner with them. And then I would personally email Brian himself about your further questions because I can't really speak for him. So I would go email him and ask him about that.
Quick
No problem.
comment on that, Sweta. Aiden, are you from Alaska? I think we met Aiden this past weekend up in Alaska. So Brian has talked to him, and yes, we can help him work that all out. There was another question that I just wanted to address, and it was, do clubs need to have identified 2 delegates to the convention before the meetings start? And the answer is yes, because those delegates have to have registered as delegates. So they should be selected and identified before you come to convention so that they can immediately go and register as delegates. There's a question about the advisor bulletin board. Josh, maybe you can chime in if you know. I'm not aware because most advisors tend not to want to share rooms with people they don't know. But perhaps there is a mechanism. Josh, do you know, or does anyone know?
Hi,
I
this is
believe
Angela.
the
Yes, there's the roommate tracker. Is that what you're
Okay.
referring to?
Yeah, so that works for the adults as well, Angela?
Yes, some people will put on there like chaperone looking for another chaperone. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Oh, and while we're on the topic of rooms, I should just mention there was an adult who posed a question earlier prior to this webinar, and it was around quad rooming, rooming more than 2 students to a bed. So one of the school districts has now changed their rules, and they do not allow students to share a bed. So the question was, can we put 2 cots into a room? And the answer is the rooms will only accommodate 1 cot, not 2. So then you are looking at pricing as triple pricing, not quad pricing, because you don't have 4 students in that room.
So what you were just discussing, that was because a specific district has those rules, right? That's not overall for the DCON?
Right. No, that was
Okay.
because the specific school had those rules.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So Aiden asked, what do I do for the medical consent form, the liability waiver for the upload? What do I upload? So in the registration process, they provide the different forms, and then you just fill that out, and then you can upload a PDF of it, and you just uploaded it like fully like filled out, and that's all you do with all the different documents.
So you'll need parental approval and
Yeah.
signatures on those.
Yeah. So it just has to be completely filled out, and if you're a minor, you will need like consent forms, and that's it. So the forms can be found on the registration packet. They're towards the bottom of it, and those 3 will be there. And let me just double check the certain pages.
It's pages 23 to 26. That's where
Thank you,
the
Kayla.
registration packet is, or
Yeah.
for all the file forms.
Yeah. So as Kayla said, pages 23 to 26, that's where all the different forms are found. Yes, non-binary students will be given the choice of room. And I am just gonna put the registration packet in chat in case it's easier for you guys to find all the different information.
On that topic of non-binary students, this is an area we are just beginning to navigate. So the one caveat in that is that the non-binary student can choose to room with the gender they identify. However, the other students in that room, we must also get permission from those students' parents that they allow their student to room with the non-binary student.
And is there any further questions? Oh, okay. So, okay. Thank you for attending our DCON registration webinar. And as a reminder, registration, award forms, election packets must be completed on February 1st, 2024 at 11:59 p.m. PST. Start early and don't wait until last minute. We hope to see you guys at DCON 2024. If you have any questions about DCON registration, please feel free to reach out to me at convention@pnwkeyclub.org or to our district administrator at administrator@pnwkeyclub.org. Thank you.